Greetings and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and today we are playing Flatpack, Fix the Future, an optimistic post-apocalyptic game by Filamena Young. I've been wanting to play this game for a crazy long time, and I've got some volunteers here who are brave enough to take it on. To go forth, we've got four eager young folks getting ready to go forth and try to find that which previous civilizations left behind so that they can make the future better and brighter. And we're going to go around and say hi to everybody, find out who they are and who they're playing, and we shall start with Anino. Hello.
God, me. Hi, my name's Anino, and today I am playing Carlton Ray Jepson Bautista. Yeah, that's what we're going with today.
Sure.
A lot of talking to this.
No, that's fine. Actually, I feel that's what people would name their children in several generations removed from the apocalypse. So that's perfectly fine. And let us head over to Akodu. Hello.
Hi. I'm Akoda, and I'm going to play April today. My parents named me after the friend of the Ninja Turtles, so I hope to be a good helper and friend today.
Good choice. Excellent. And now let us head over to Amber. Hello. Hello. Okay. We may be having a little trouble there. Amber, can you hear me okay? Okay. She might be actually... There's a possibility she might have stepped away for a second. So if that's the case, we're just going to keep going, and we'll see. We'll kind of see what happens. Looks like our audio is working, but we'll kind of work that out as we're going. In the meantime, then let us go over and say hello to Tony. Hello.
Hi, my name is Tony Vicinda. I'm playing as IKEA Store, the 23rd, which is a family of some level of renown that we'll discover as we go through. My family helped contribute some materials to the manual and changed our names now to be representative of the couple of letters that were left on the pictographic system of instructions.
I don't know why that just cut out. What did I just cut out in the middle of like saying something? Or?
There you are. Yeah, we couldn't hear you. Are you? You're back. Can you hear us? Okay. And I can't hear anything. That's interesting. Let me see.
Come on, no. It's trippy.
Okay. No, it's perfectly fine. Let me see here. What we can figure it out. Let me go to. Do you have your audio settings set up there?
I was gonna say, you know what I might do? I might just cellular and see if that and turn Wi-Fi off for a bit and see if cellular will be okay.
I'm all for experimentation. You want to give it a try?
I might have to reconnect again, but
okay. Yeah, if that's the case, yeah, we'll deal. He's okay. But therefore, in the meantime, let me go ahead and. Go over a couple things here real quick.
all right. I think it transitioned.
Did it transition for you? Are you okay? Can you hear us okay? Okay, cool. Go ahead and let us know who you are and who you're playing.
All right, so my name is Amber, and I'm playing a girl named Jessica. And she's here to help save and fix the world. Awesome.
And I'm sorry, Tony, you got cut off a little bit. Was there anything else you wanted to let us know about Ike?
He is not impressed by his own family's legacy. He has little concern for the future or the past.
Oh my God. Well, if there have been like 23 of them, that's definitely saying something. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to do now is there's a little bit of a setup involved in this game, as we're kind of sorting out things about our characters. part of character creation is a game that is called Two Truths and a Lie. This is a thing where let me actually pull it up here so that I have it in front of me. That would be helpful. This thing where we go over, you have three statements that is basically to establish background history with a bit of a twist. You basically have three statements about who your character was before the game begins. There are facts that it can include other characters, should be memorable, something that could, as well as something that can be common knowledge possibly, or at least like a public secret. You take turns reading your facts aloud, and after you read your three facts, the player to your right, which I'm just going to say is the next player in the order that I've been going in, is going to declare which of those statements is a lie. And if you accept, you get to start the game with a bonus point of spirit. Spirit is is currency that you can spend during the game to affect your rolls. That's we'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. Everyone's going to start automatically with a point of spirit, but then you may get more if you accept these. You can either choose to have all three of your things be true, or you can accept that one of them is false. Basically, is how this goes. So I'm going to actually start with Anino, and ask you to just sort of read out your three statements, and Ukodo can tell us which of those is not true.
I totally didn't pull these together in about a span of 2 or 3 minutes. So Carlton can mimic any movement that he sees in 3 times in succession. 2 is that he hates the fact that his parents named him after Carly Rae Jepsen. And the third one is he's never watched any of the teen movies that has become somewhat required viewing for people in the caves. And we're talking about teen movies like Can't Hardly Wait and 10 Things I Hate About You, that sort of genre.
God. That's strange. She has that in common with someone.
This is why we can't run that game I wanted to run.
I didn't say you can't. I just have to do some research first so that I know what the hell I'm looking at. So Ukodo, which of those do you think might be untrue?
I think number 2. I can't think of a reason why he could hate the name.
Why would anyone?
For this name. I think in reality he loves his name.
So if you accept that, then you will get another point of spirit. But or you can decline it and keep that is true.
So we will accept that as a falsehood, and there is a secret playlist on his iPod that is all just Carly Rae Jepsen discography.
Nice. And it's a funny thing because these things, all three of these things could be things that are kind of known about your character, but it's just one of them isn't. Turns out one of them isn't true, but people might think that it's true. So now, Ukodo, what are your 3 statements?
Yes. The first one is April scared away a bear out of the tunnels by making a lot of noise when she was just 7 years old. Number 2 is last year there was a tunnel ski tournament where they rushed down the tunnels on skis, and she won a gold medal. And the third is she made a feather dress once, so with a feather head and everything, out of old chicken feathers to convince a baby chicken that she's her mother.
Nice. So Amber, it's up to you to decide which of those 3 things is false.
I'm gonna go with the second one.
Oh, no gold medal? Okay, I'll accept that.
Perhaps it's rumored. Perhaps you did enter that contest, but for some reason, people might think you got a gold medal, but you did not.
Oh. Maybe I let them believe. So.
Maybe it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Do we even know what gold is anymore? I don't know. But now we will head over to Amber for Jess. And what are Jess's 3 statements?
I kind of gave myself away in here anyway earlier, but so she loves fighting. She is good at making friends, and her she dates a lot.
Okay. And so now it's up to Tony to decide which of those is probably false.
I'm going to go with dates a lot is somewhat false.
No.
Okay, so well, that's the thing, Amber. You get to if you accept that, you get a point of spirit. If you don't, then all 3 of those continue to be true.
So, what?
Okay, so no, the way this version of the game works is that is you have 3 things that you would like potentially to be true about your character.
Oh.
The next player decides which one is false, and if you accept that, you get a point of spirit.
All right, then I'll accept it.
Okay. In that case, you do get another point of spirit. So apparently she does not necessarily date a lot, but perhaps people think that she does. And finally, Tony, for Ike, what are Ike's 3 statements?
So I have that Ike eats slugs, and if that's normal, then he eats the grossest slugs in the worst kind of way. That he's an expert trash surfer, and that his family secretly has a stash of manual documents that they study so their children have an upper leg on everybody else.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Anino, you get to decide which one of those is false.
I'm going to say 2 is false.
I'm not an expert trash surfer.
Yep.
Your
And
center of balance is too high.
One, but sometimes I fall down trash heaps and then I just tell people that's what happened.
Okay. So, Antonio, if you accept that, then you get a point of spirit.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think everyone accepted the falsehood. So everyone starts with 2 points of spirit, which will be helpful as we keep going on. I am periodically meant to award spirit out as things happen, and hopefully that will also happen. Okay. So that's basically those are the basics of character creation. It's that, and you have your 6 stats that each spell out the word wrench at the beginning. That essentially just to speak about briefly your wiles, which you use as sort of your bag of tricks, how to talk to people, talk around people, that kind of thing. Resourcefulness, how good you are at using your environment to your advantage. You have ego, which is a reflection of how good you are at sticking to your hex keys, how hard you are to push. You have nostalgia, which is how much you can kind of remember about the past. Or rather, how well you can reflect on the past. It's not actual knowledge so much as it is the ability to perhaps remember these things. Curiosity, which is how eager you are to explore the world around you in the here and now. And hope, which is faith in the future, and the ability to inspire others to look forward to the times to come. And any and all of those may become useful as we get this going. Let's see here. Basically, the world is a strange and dangerous place. You folks have been down in the tunnels for generations upon generations, and now have decided to emerge up into the world to try to find that which the former civilization left behind in Flatpacks, mostly. That's where they kept their buildings. They had these prefabricated buildings that would come fully furnished in these 1x3x5 boxes that hover slightly above the ground when activated. You can, if you find those, you can then start building a city. And that is what we're going to look at to do today. So a couple of things I'm going to do a little bit differently. Just for the purpose of demonstration, is you're probably going to be picking up more Flatpacks in this game than one typically gets in a single session. And you're going to have some choices as to directions you can go and such. We'll dive in and see what happens. So you're all going to emerge from the tunnels into the site of what will hopefully be your new city. No buildings there yet. You have to put them there. It is largely trees and grassland. You found this valley that essentially looks like it would be a kind of an ideal spot. There are plenty of things to kind of places to go and search around to look for Flatpacks, and so emerging up into the light, you've got from this valley. There are 3 different directions you can go in. Now there have been some you've had a little bit of reconnaissance done already. Your people, again, you're down the tunnel and ready to come up and start populating the city once you've started it going. You have these wrist devices that you can use. They're paper-thin wrist devices that you can use to communicate with folks back in the city if you need to, and with each other. They're called EPPCs. So as you've come up, the 3 sort of settlement type things that you know are nearby. There is a place that you've heard it seems like some kind of, from what people have said, a place with a lot of displays of some kind in it, but where it was perhaps some type of, you think, a zoo at one time. At least that's what the records kind of are stating. So that's in one direction. That's to the north. To the west, there is, to the best of your, from what you understand, there's a junkyard that has probably a lot of stuff from previous civilizations in it. A lot of wreckage of old vehicles, that kind of thing. And to the east, there is a building that apparently once was that sort of stands by itself. It was there as part of a chain of stores of some kind. It used to sell amusements of some kind, and at least that's the best of your knowledge. It was either meant to sell them or to encourage worship in them. It's hard to tell. In these things, and was said to be child friendly. So those are your 3 choices, and it is up to you what you would like to do.
So are we all like together originally, like as a group, or do we meet like eventually?
You've all met.
Okay.
You've all been sent up by your elders as a team to go forth and find the Flatpacks and start building. The good thing about the Flatpacks is they pretty much operate themselves. Once you actually get one activated, you can tell it to go wherever you want, and then tell it to set down and open. So what would you like to do?
So before we go anywhere, I totally say goodbye to my chicken and tell him that everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna come back. And yeah.
Your chicken is somewhat concerned, but is does have hope that you will return. Actually, is there a which stats did you highlight as your positive stats?
My curiosity and my hope.
Okay, your chicken is assuaged very quickly and is bursting with hope for the future, and possibly also eggs, but we'll find out that later. Is it a hen or is it or rooster?
Yeah, it's a hen.
It's a hen. Okay.
She's called Cindy.
Okay. Cindy
So
is
I'm stroking her.
eagerly awaiting your return.
Great. So, guys, I'm ready. Where do we go?
I kind of stretch and look into the distance at the three sites, and I don't know, that trash heap over there, the junkyard seems pretty normal. Why don't we try that one?
So you think normal is the good kind of normal?
Yeah.
Well, we might be able to find some tools we can use or something if we need to, fend off anything or repair something or whatever.
Okay, let's try this.
I must sully my hands. I guess we must do it immediately. And you see, he just adjusts his fingerless gloves primly. He's wearing a leather jacket, but he's got no shirt underneath it, just torn jeans. And but the jeans are really like skin tight, and they only actually come down to his ankles, so you can see like bright yellow socks into his slip-on shoes. And he is wearing a pair of dark sunglasses, and just seems to be staring upward most of the time, as if listening to something that nobody else can hear.
Excellent. And actually, that's a good thing to do as you're all striding. I think I presume you're all striding in the direction of the junkyard. Yep. At this point, down the little path that'll head toward there. I'd like to sort of the camera's going to pan across, and I'd like you to tell us sort of who we're seeing here, as what your characters look like. And so we're going to proceed on to April. What do we see?
Yeah, you see her still wearing a kind of a headband with the feathers, so my chicken Cindy doesn't get too disturbed from me not being a chicken. So, and I think it could have been orange or yellow at some point, but it's pretty dirty and worn the t-shirt and yeah, also jeans, but nothing too special except for the headband.
Awesome. And as we continue panning across, what does Jess look like?
She's what's the weather like?
It's fair to middling right now. It's probably your EPPC tells you that the temperature is about 64 degrees.
So
right
that's
that's Fahrenheit.
Yeah, what is it in Celsius?
That's considerably less in Celsius.
Yeah.
It's very temperate, is what it is.
Very temperate.
All right. Well,
curse my American brain! Quick, I must find the conversion. 17.7778 Celsius.
Oh, okay. So wow, that's spring weather. All right. So she's wearing a three sleeve, like a 3/4 sleeve shirt, and she's wearing capri pants, and she's pretty trendy.
Cool, awesome. And as finally we pan over to Ike, and what do we see?
He is wearing nice-ish jeans and sneakers, He's got a white T-shirt on with a vest over it that looks like it's intentionally been shabified in a very fashionable way. And then he has a pork pie hat on, but as the camera starts to pan across it, he flicks the brim of it, and it expands out to become a medium-length fedora to keep the sun out of his eyes.
Oh yeah, Jess has running shoes on.
Good. Yes, that will be very handy. Excellent. Perhaps. One of the interesting things about this game is that a lot of the things that you encounter are kind of open-ended and can go in a number of directions, as you're about to discover. So, you're heading in. There's a reference to in what ancient civilizations referred to as an elephant graveyard. You're not sure exactly what an elephant is, but you presume it was a thing with very large bones, because the cultural reference is one of just basically large things left behind, and sort of for a very long time. And that's kind of what you're seeing as you kind of head down. As you're heading down into this, down the trail toward this junkyard, you can see a lot of vehicles stacked up on top of each other. You can see what looks like large metal wings poking up from somewhere in the sort of the middle of the junkyard. You can see all manner of large, kind of giant box crate metal looking things just sort of haphazardly scattered all over the place. A lot of different things there. You're kind of dipping down in there.
Ike's going to start looking around for kind of a high ground vantage, so he's going to start working his way up either a stack or a pile.
Okay. So you go in and you start. So you're going to start climbing one of the piles of junk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think that's not going to be too difficult for you. So you're going to start scrambling your way up to sort of see kind of what is where. And the problem is to see if you can spot anything that's gonna, preferably something that looks like a Flatpack, but just anything that might be of use. So, what, now, at this point, I must ask you which trait you are using. And if that trait is a positive trait, a negative trait, or a neutral trait. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I would say, I think curiosity, which is neutral, is probably where he's at right now.
Okay. So you're going to be rolling a d6. Now, just so you're aware, most difficulties are around a 7. But this will be... Let me see here. Yeah, you don't have any specialists yet. It's not an obstacle, really. So I'm sorry. I'm just looking down how this works. So yeah, I'm just gonna. We're gonna start off a little easy. I'm just gonna declare this as a difficulty of 5. It's a neutral stat. You're just gonna be rolling a single d6.
Yeah.
And
I got a 5.
Okay. And this was, you were using that. Let me actually pull up. Let me pull up this thing. I have realized what the most important page for me to have open now is going to be. And that is the what opposes what. Okay. You got a 5. You're good. Let me go ahead and... and you used your curiosity. Okay. The main thing I'm just checking here is there is a... you see what it is. There we go. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, normally I'm not actually supposed to say what the target number is, but it can vary depending on whether the thing has opposition to what you're doing. And the trait that opposes curiosity is apathy. I don't. And while a junkyard is perhaps a place that would be teeming with apathy, I think that I think instead I'm going to say it was stolid. So it's no effect. So you got a 5. You're looking around. So I have some good news and some bad news for you. So you spot you sort of catch just out of the corner of your eye the sort of flicker of blue, and you look down, and you can see that there is an area. It's a little harder to get to. It's kind of a cul-de-sac-ish type thing. And you spot just up against this pile of just slightly under it, sort of at the bottom of this pile of a couple of things that look like they might be refrigeration units. You see a Flatpack.
I'll call out back down that, hey, it looks like there's a Flatpack over by some refrigerators over there.
So what's a refrigerator?
It's one of those like cold boxes.
Oh, you mean the big white things over there?
Sure.
Great. Let's go and get it.
Yeah, it's it's hard to know. There are things that they use to keep things cool, but it's hard to really pin down what that they were at one time called refrigerators. But anyway, yeah. So you see those? They're. Yeah, you kind of see where it is that Ike is pointing, and are you all heading over there? Who's heading over there?
I'm going.
Yeah, Carlton will go too, but he has his hands up like this, and he's sort of just scanning around the junkyard, as if he was viewing it through a cinematic experience. And he is filled with nostalgia. He's like, "Oh, look at all this stuff. We can make some killer music out of this." And I remember this show once, and he's gonna look around. Does he see stuff like oil drums and trash cans and
Oh
stuff?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he will actually like hop up onto 2 oil drums, sort of try to get his feet stuck in on the top a little bit, and he's just gonna start doing his cover of some numbers from the hit musical Stomp with all this trash. So he will be kind of doing this as he is making his way over to the refrigerators, making as much loud, obnoxious noise as he can, because
So
You
Carlton
can't
is
just do
making-
this, and
Yeah.
you can't just do this in the caves. So,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It echoes everywhere. Here, you can actually, you can hear it. It's out loud.
he feels very liberated right now.
Carlton is very joyously banging away.
Yeah, I'm kind of shaking with him and saying, saying, "Hey, you should do this more often at home. Cindy would love this."
I've never really quite performed for animals before, but I think that would really work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As you head into this sort of cul-de-sac, Carlton and April, there is Ike, you're in the position to see this first. As it appears that these reverberations have brought something out. It looks for a moment as though some part of the trash is moving, but then coming out from out of this pile that you're heading toward as you enter this cul-de-sac, from in front of and around you are these very large creatures. They look kind of like very big cockroaches. That are just sort of like they're coming out, and you can see that they're sort of shuffling around as this noise is being made, and you hear this almost this like.
I think you get yourself some audience.
As they're like, they seem a little aggravated, and they're starting to like form up and try to surround you. What do you do?
So,
Oh, goodness.
two options. Maybe make it louder to scare them away, or hope that they'll start to dance.
I mean, I guess it's worth a try. And I guess Carlton will actually just go into this big Broadway style intermission, like pre-intermission song, just to try to get everybody involved in the impromptu show.
Oh my god.
I'm looking around and see if it works.
So yes, there is a. So this is going to count as an obstacle. So it may take more than one of you to defeat it. So what we're gonna look at here. Let me pull up the thing so that I can see what they're resisting with. Okay. Gotcha. So who wants to go first? There will be perhaps a series of rolls now, as we are doing things. So,
I guess I'll roll first. I will.
Okay. What are you leading with here?
What am I leading with? I am going to lead with nostalgia.
Okay. Is that positive, neutral, or negative?
That is positive.
Okay. So you can. So you're going to be rolling a d6, but if you want, you can spend a spirit point to roll a d8.
No, we'll go with the d6.
Okay. Let me just check something. Let me just check the. Let me just check the list here before we do anything. Okay, good. All right. All right. Okay, so you're just going with the d6, right?
Sure.
Okay, and yeah, because like I said, you can spend spirits to get d8, but yeah, it's by itself. All right, yeah. So go ahead and you're gonna go ahead and make a roll. Okay, you got a 6.
Woo.
That is the most you can possibly get on that roll. So you get another point of spirit. And it looks as though they are, as they're they're like, they're starting to sway a little bit. Some of them are, some of them aren't. They're like, just sort of like looking a little confused right now, going back and forth. Let's see, would anyone else like to do something?
Yeah, maybe I just try to join him and join the beat to make it even better.
Okay. So yeah, actually, since we've had a roll, I have to tell you that I am opposing with chaos, just so you'll know. Which you will learn which things oppose which as we go, possibly, or you'll find out. But what are you leading with?
Yeah, I think maybe with hope, as I hope they just like the music.
Okay. And is that positive, neutral,
It's
or
positive,
negative?
yes.
Positive? Okay. You can, if you want, spend a spirit to get a D8 on it, or you can just have a D6. Up to you.
I'll spend a spirit point.
Okay, so you have a D8 you can roll now.
See if I can make it.
Okay, you got a 6.
Okay.
Let me just check the thing here.
You're creating the ultimate cockroach band.
Okay.
Line.
They're now looking a lot more neutral. They're just sort of like, kind of, just sort of. They're kind of they're not hugely getting into it, but now they're starting to kind of like, just sort of, some of them are dancing around a little bit, and they're now kind of, they don't seem agitated by it any longer. They're still there. They're still moving around, but they don't seem to be plagued by the beats anymore.
Does this mean we can pass?
And just let me see. Does anyone else want to do anything to engage with these cockroaches?
So I've seen them come out. They looked agitated. Now they've calmed down.
Yeah, they look like they're calmer now. They're still there, sort of swarming around where the Flatpack is, but they're not. They don't look hostile at this point.
But they're between us and the Flatpack.
They're still between you and the Flatpack. Yes.
Okay. I don't have a lot of they're playing music and it sounds super familiar. It sounds like a song from one of that musician that Carlton is always saying he doesn't like, which seems weird, but I can't even remember their name. So it's not. I'm gonna look at this there's a kind of a wing hanging over with a loose piece, and I'm gonna pull out a wrench and try to play the space in between that loose piece and the wing like a triangle to try to get them to dance my way. I'm just gonna try to blend that into a song. But I'm going to be rolling nostalgia, and that's one of my negatives.
Okay, so the bonus you get for that is you're going to gain a spirit after this roll. You're going to gain a point of spirit for doing that. If you get a 1 on this, things are going to get worse. But we'll see how
April
it
gets a
goes.
spirit point for her roll, right?
Well, she did not get the maximum on
she rolled
the
a
die.
D8. Okay.
Yeah, she was rolling a D8. But yeah, Ike, you're going to be rolling a D4.
All right, here we go.
And heavens help you. Okay, 3. Doesn't seem to do much. They're sort of clanging. They're like, nah, nah, nah. But they're a few of them are sort of avoiding your particular area, but that's about it. Jess, are you doing anything?
I think I'm going to ask them what they are doing here, and if we can help them with something, or maybe they can help us with something.
Okay. So you're gonna go up and talk to them?
Yep.
Okay. What do you want to what stat do you want to lead with on this?
Is there like a questioning one?
So there's curiosity.
Okay, yeah, all right.
All right.
Isn't Wiles conversing?
Wiles is also conversing. Yes. So you've got got those options.
I didn't know what that
sort of-
meant. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are very flexible stats, so there are a lot of different things you can
okay.
do. Yeah.
Alright.
Wiles is conversing and convincing, and I mean, curiosity is more like if you're questioning too. But I mean, it sort of depends on how you want to play it.
I'll pick the wild one.
Wiles.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Is Wiles a positive stat, a negative stat, or a neutral stat for you?
Positive.
Okay. Do you want to spend the point of spirit to get a D8, or do you want to stay with a D6?
I'll do D6.
Okay. Let me just check this real quick. Once again. Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll a D6.
Alexa, roll D6. 4. 4.
4. Okay. They're kind of like, they come up and they're like sort of looking around. They can't seem to quite get what you're saying. So they
don't understand the same language.
Yeah, they don't seem to quite grasp what you're saying. They're like, they seem curious about you, but they haven't. Yeah, you're not sure.
All right. Well, there's a language barrier. Okay, that's interesting.
And would anyone else like to do something?
So, Carlton's just going to continue his song, but he's actually going to start moving his way towards the Flatpack, still using the steel drums, or the oil can drums, as basically really tall stilts, I guess, as he's making his way over. But he'll start moving as if he was some sort of like giant mech, with pop and locking his way over, and hope that that intimidates them a little bit.
Okay, so you're trying to intimidate them. So what stat do you want to lead with on this?
Maybe ego.
Okay. All right. And what's ego for you?
It is neutral.
Okay. So yeah, you get a D6. 5. Okay.
5.
You manage. A few of them are like skitter back a little bit. And you have managed to successfully clear a path to the Flatpack.
Fantastic.
And so yeah, so you've got all it's going to take now is just lifting these cold boxes off of it, and then you can activate it if you so choose. Well, you can basically. Yeah, there are things you had some training in this, but yeah, the cockroaches, they're still there, but they're no longer. They no longer seem upset that you're there. They're sort of like, they kind of know not to come at you too hard. So you all can get up to it if you wish, or any of you can. And basically, so your options here with the Flatpack, as you're looking at it, is you can, once you see this blue pack, you can't quite, the label is faded, you can't quite see what it is. But you can either tell it to follow you, using your device. You can make it follow you, or you can send it back to the valley. Or you can tell it to... It'll go wherever you want it to go. It'll follow your instructions.
So the valley is where we want to set up the our city? Is that the plan or idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we have to... Is the goal to send as many of these to the place where we want to set up so they can help build, or?
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, we should send it.
Okay. So basically, you scan the barcode on the side of it using your thing here, and it's some numbers and stuff come up, but it doesn't tell you, because a lot of it's very faded. The programming's still there. That's all really that's necessary. And then through your EPPC, you can basically you press a few buttons and it begins hovering up off the ground. And now you've got your commands here, which is, again, you can tell it to follow, you can tell it to go specific places, that kind of thing. And you're sending this one back to the valley? Or or is it following you? Okay, absolutely. So you press a few buttons and it starts hovering toward the exit.
Oh, that was easy-ish.
But pretty cool.
We're very good at
I
this.
read about it, but it's way cooler than I expected.
This is 1x3x5 box. This looks like cardboard, blue cardboard. It's sort of hovering now just like a couple of feet off the ground. It's moving slowly in the direction you're telling it.
Hopefully not crashing any cockroaches on the way.
So you've seen a few other the only other place in here that you think that might have something is that you've had trouble seeing from out here. There's an area around this very large, you think it's a vehicle, in the middle of this heap. Some of those things, one of those vehicles with wings. And there might be something else in there, but that's just as far as just looking around the surface of this thing to see if whether there is or not. Hard to say. You could go digging through there if you want.
I think there may be something in that big thing with the pointy parts over there.
With their little glass things.
Yeah, if you see there's one of the glass things has a bigger circle around it.
Yeah.
I think if we pop that off, we can get inside.
Okay, let's try.
Okay. So now this is going to be basically an obstacle as you're heading in to try to dig into this area and find your way through. So it's going to take a little bit of doing, searching through. Let me quickly select a thing that it's going to use against you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's use this. So yeah, you basically get up there, and you're starting to work with it. So who's getting up first to this craft? and doing something.
I'm standing there and expanding my arms and trying to measure how many times my size this is.
Trying to sort of get an idea of how to get at it. Yeah. Yeah, we can have that as a roll count toward this. What do you want to lead with on it?
Oh, maybe. Nostalgia, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This thing, it looks labyrinthine almost as you're looking down into it. There's like more little ways through as it sort of sunk into the trash, and so you see ways through the junk piles and stuff through this window, and it's like, oh god, there's going to be a lot to look through. But you're trying to sort of steel yourself and think about it. So, what is nostalgia for you? Positive, negative, neutral?
Neutral.
Okay. So you're going to get a d6. And that's basically you can go ahead and roll for that. 5. Okay.
That's 5.
So the interesting thing here is that nostalgia has an advantage over woebegone, which is what this it's opposing with woebegone, the belief that it's not going to get any better. Deep depression. This is a very depressed aircraft, so you're actually so it's easier on you. So yeah, you look and you're like, okay, well, I think I've figured out about how big it is. It's not going to take forever. This isn't that huge a thing. And you can kind of see the different paths you think that lead out of it and into it through different sort of. There's basically holes in this junk pile that's kind of held up by this kind of structure someone has built under it, or did some time ago. So you're like, yeah, there are ways into this thing.
Do I have to roll anything for this to feel or look familiar to me?
Not necessarily. No, I mean you can declare that you've that there's something familiar.
I didn't want to metagame it or anything.
Well,
but,
you're encouraged to make crap up. If you make up something incredibly clever, you get spirit for it.
Okay. I mean, so are there like little tiny windows in a row on the side of this thing?
Yeah, there are a few. Yeah.
Yeah. April, which entrance do you think is the easiest way to get in?
I think the one closest to the ground. The big one.
It does make sense.
Yes.
Right. So Carlton's actually going to go over to it and try to open that entrance and see if he can clear the way a bit.
Okay. What are you using?
I guess we're just gonna have to use resourcefulness for this one.
Okay. All right. And what is it?
That's 1d. That's negative for me.
Negative. Okay. Yeah. Well, then you're gonna be rolling. You're gonna be rolling a d4, and you're gonna get a point of spirit for trying it. But we'll see. We'll see how you do.
Oh
you get
God.
2 points of spirit because you rolled a 4.
Okay. So you see Carlton actually has both of his feet against the craft as he's yanking on the knob or the lever to the door, and it gives way, and he'll fall backwards and land on his head as it swings open with this really loud groaning metal on metal noise.
Yeah. So it is. The craft is now open. I am now going to do something slightly strange. And I am going to... I'm going to leave this open to either Jess or Ike, actually. I'm going to dare one of you to go in. And if you go in, I'm going to... If you dive into this thing and start looking around, I'm going to give you a point of spirit. Because that's another thing I can do.
So I think I am slowly picking my way down the hillside. And then I think I misstep and start sliding down the hillside and get launched through the door, whether I want to or not.
Awesome. Excellent. Take a point of spirit for that. Ike, you're inside. You're sort of picking yourself up, and you see there's this long sort of tube-like room, a little smaller than the tunnels, but with all these... all these different sort of wrecked like seats. It sort of goes down into dark. It sort of slopes down into darkness.
Okay, I'm gonna start kind of picking my way back into the darkness.
Excellent. Good.
Looks fine, guys.
Suddenly, I'm looking pretty excited, as if I just got it. So, hey guys, I know what it is. It's a dolphin. It has the snout and the fins.
Okay, that's
I'm
all.
pretty sure.
Right.
April, please take a point of spirit.
But
Yeah, it looks
for
like
some reason-
it looks like there's a dolphin on the walls in here.
dolphin inside a dolphin? Is that like dolphinception?
Maybe it's pregnant.
Oh,
Baby dolphins.
baby dolphins. And as he's looking, as Carlton's walking through inside this, and he's looking, does he see like up in this tube? Does he see like containers or like storage up top?
Yeah, there are things up top that look like they might be storage units. Most of them are open, and don't seem to have anything in them. But yeah, you do see some that are closed.
Yeah, so he's just looking at them, and he actually gets a sense of like trepidation as he approaches the closed ones, because he's seen this before in a movie of Legends, and then he just opens up like the closed bins.
No, there's nothing in there. There's a so there you open up one, and there's this, looks like it's not big enough to have a flat pack, but there is like a container of some kind in there. It looks like it's made of some sort of like hard cloth.
Hard cloth. So you see Carlton just looks really relieved and is like, my God, imagine if there were like these snakes on this mother effing dolphin.
I know.
Yeah. And he's just gonna pull out the he'll pull out that package carefully and rest it on one of the I don't know, dolphin innards, and see if there's a way to open it.
So you're examining this carefully. I'm going to come back to you in just a second, but I'm going to ask, Jess, are you also, have you followed everyone else in here?
Yeah, after I saw that there doesn't seem to be anything to be afraid of, I kind of slowly just wander in and just stand behind everyone a little bit of ways, but close enough so that I can see what they're seeing.
Yeah. It's a little dark further down. You can basically see by the lights from your EPPCs. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of hard to determine exactly what's where. But there is, you think as you're looking around, you're spotting, you think that there's a point toward one end of it, toward sort of in the darkness. You think it's like a hatch or something that's sitting open that seems to go further down.
All right. Well, I'll go a little ways and just investigate it, but I won't get too far away from the others because I don't want to lose them.
Yeah. So you head over, and you think, yeah, you basically can see this way down. You hear it's almost like the little sound of like water dripping down there. Sort of going on down there. And it goes down into what looks like a further sort of storage area, sort of inside the belly of the dolphin.
Well, I'll alert the others and see if anybody wants to, a couple people can maybe hang around there, and maybe one other person can come with me to investigate.
I'll come.
All right.
Okay. So you get down in there. The two of you are sort of looking around, you're sort of flashing your lights. And you see there's this big pile of stuff down at the far end of this. A bunch of these, like, things that look like boxes made of hardened cloth, and crates, and it looks like there may be people lying down there, possibly as well.
Oh boy.
It looks like this dolphin used to eat people. These hard cloth things must be partially digested people.
And you can actually see them because the people are giving off that slight green glow that you've heard sometimes certain folks who were around a long time ago and they're still moving around sometimes have. Sort of that radiation glow to them.
These people don't look like they're entirely done being digested yet. We should probably try to, maybe I can distract them and you can try to sneak around.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm gonna talk to them about helping them escape from the evil dolphin overlord who has currently trapped them in his belly, and tell them that we can lead them back into the light.
Okay.
I'm gonna hop up on a nearby net that's holding down a couple of pieces of this hardened cloth, even though I really don't want to stand on dolphin feces. I'm gonna do it.
Very brave.
And kind of make my appeal to them.
Okay.
So I think this is Wiles, which is a plus. And I'm going to go ahead and use a spirit point.
Okay. And what do you say to them?
That I don't know how long you've been trapped down here, but we've come to lead you to the light, to lead you to safety. So you'll just follow me. The exit is up and then out towards the front. Be careful to make sure that you don't trip over anybody. And if there's a smaller glowing human with you, please take care of yourself and get yourself in a secure position before you assist them.
Okay, I'm going to give you another point of spirit for that. But yeah, so spending that spirit, it's a D8 that you get to roll on this.
Oh.
Oh.
So they do sit up when you say that. A few of them. They're like, yeah, so let's see, you got a 1. Yeah. Okay. They are, they get up and they are starting to like, just like shift around a bit. And they
Yes, that's it.
And they
Come
are
on.
kind of limping in your direction. These slightly green glowing people, as they're sort of climbing forward. I will say, Jess, as they move, and this you see more luggage, shall we call it, just because why not, gets moved, falls out of the way. You see this. You see the blue of a Flatpack sitting there underneath
Oh,
a
nice.
pile of luggage.
Okay, so if they're all distracted, I can move towards it and get it.
Yeah, so I presume you're going to try to sneak over there to do this, not get their attention. Ike
Yeah.
very much has their attention right now.
Yeah, so they're kind of distracted, so that'd be fairly easy, I think.
Well, what do you want to use?
Is there like a stealth, like a kind of like a sneaky sort of?
Let's
Okay.
see. So I think. Hang on. I should. What? You know what I should do? I should open up this document. This other document where I actually put the character sheet. There it is. That's not going to help me at all. I would say either. Let's see. Yeah, I'd say resourceful. I'd say you could use either resourceful or curious, depending on how you're. On how you're
I'll
doing
use
this.
resourceful.
Okay. What's is resourceful positive, negative, or neutral?
It's a positive.
Okay, cool. Do you want to
So
spend
I have 2 positives so far, right? So next one I'll need to pick something else.
Well, yeah. If you're doing it that way, then yeah. You basically you have 2 positives, so it's either the other 4 have got to be either neutral.
All
or
right, yeah.
negative.
All right.
So do you want to spend spirit to get a D8 on this, or do you want to keep it as a D6?
I'll keep it as a D6.
Okay.
Alexa, roll D6.
4.
4.
Okay. I think you're starting to sneak around. You see that they're very sort of engaged. They're starting to try to kind of like move, so they're kind of like trying to surround Ike. They can't completely, but they're starting to move around. As you get down there, though, you move over to the Flatpack, and as you make it there, your foot does hit one of these things, these sort of cloth containers that seems to be on wheels. Now you discover, because you can hear it rolling all the way across and hitting the far side of the belly of the dolphin. And a couple of these things turn and they look at you. These radiation zombies turn and they look at you, and they start moving in your direction as well. But you're right there by the Flatpack. What would you like to do?
Grab it and dash back towards the.
Well,
towards
so
safety.
you quickly you quickly scan it and tell it to follow you. And you're starting to run. You're starting to head back toward the hatch as these things are starting to follow you. Ike, you see this. You see that she's getting the Flatpack. Are you going to try to follow out?
Yeah, I say one of them tries to take a bite at me, and I say, no, once we've reached maximum altitude, we'll have snacks at that point in time, along with if you need a drink, we'll get you taken care of. As I slowly start backing towards the ladder that we came down.
Okay. So you are you're backing, you're heading up. Carlton and April, you're up top, and Carlton, you have opened this. You found a way to open it. Apparently, it's got this this thing with that pulls along the series of metal or plastic teeth that open. You look inside, and there appear to be articles of clothing in there.
I gotta mute for a sec.
Yeah, there appear to be articles of clothing in there. There are a few little plastic bags that have containers in them that might be used for cleaning a person, possibly. There is also at the bottom of this bag this very short little device that appears to have it's how do I describe this exactly? Well, it's a very small little looks like kind of like a keyboard. They have a number of white keys and black keys. That has like a couple of switches on it to turn it on and off.
Are we going to break soon?
We can break in just a moment. If you
I
like.
have a bit of a dilemma.
Oh,
so.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as your friends are working on surging up the ladders, and you hear this sort of grunting and groaning below as you make this discovery, as though perhaps there's a lot of activity happening down below, as that seems to be coming your way. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will be back in a few minutes. See you shortly. Greetings, folks. Unfortunately, April could not stay with us. So had to had a family thing, had to take off. But we're very appreciative that she was able to spend some time with us. I'm going to go ahead and put her information theoretically. Well, it should be in there, but I'm going to try to put her information in there. It's not going in there. That's all right. I'll copy and paste it. For anyone who wants to, who might want to follow her, I'll be putting that in there momentarily. But in the meantime, you folks, are now dealing with a situation where you have these, where coming up, you see Jess basically come sprinting up the, up through this, this trap door, at the back, and come barreling out, heading barreling out, a Flatpack trailing behind her. And you hear these sounds of these sort of groans and moving about from down below. And as Ike is attempting to get away from these things. And yeah, there appears to be the sounds of a lot of movement from down below. What would you all like to do?
So actually, I don't think I recognize this at first, because in the meantime, I made my way up to the brain area of the dolphin, because I wanted to find out what it might feel like to be a dolphin this big.
It's awesome.
I love that your character is totally clear on what it's like to be a smaller dolphin, but the size of this dolphin fully escapes the imagination.
Well, it's important to gauge these things. You know?
No, totally.
Yeah. But yes, awesome. It would appear that yes, it would appear that it's yeah, just sort of. I will say, April, is you're sort of up near the front. And you're sort of you find this door that leads into a small chamber. And as you're sort of looking out through the front of this chamber, the glass in there, you can kind of see the clouds above you. It's kind of pointed in an upward direction, and you can see. You sort of look out, and you can see just the tops of the junk piles, and you can see the valley from here. And so apparently dolphins are aware of a lot of things, because you have this sort of sense of awareness of the world around you.
It's amazing.
You can see the cockroaches as they scuttle back and forth on top of that other junk pile, and you feel very in touch with the earth right now. It's this very serene feeling. So tell me, Ike, what are you doing right now?
I am trying to scramble back up. The Flatpack and just zoomed past me. I'm trying to kind of scramble my way up the ladder as these glowing humans are chomping at me.
Excellent. So, what would you like to use?
I think I want to use environment here. I had that cargo net I had climbed up on earlier. I want to, as I'm scrambling up the ladder, pull off one of the clips on the ceiling to let the dolphin feces / luggage slam into them and push them back.
Awesome. So what stat would you like to use?
I'm going to use environment for that.
Do you mean ego, or is it
Sorry, R. I'm going to use R. Sorry, I don't remember.
Resourcefulness. Yeah.
Resourcefulness. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's manipulating your environment, right? I wrote it.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Sorry.
And so is that positive or negative? What is it?
That is a positive. I'm going to use a spirit point
All right.
on that also, even though that was not a great thing for me last time.
It might help. You never know.
How could it possibly go wrong twice?
How could it? I can't imagine.
That's never happened, especially after you say it out loud.
That's right. That's
There's,
when you know it won't fail. You gotta roll a d8.
Yep. 7.
Ah, excellent. Good. You surge up out of this up the ladder. You pull open this thing as dolphin droppings descends on the heads of these things as you're racing towards Carlton. You see Ike belting forward through the doing this. Belting forward. You see this glowing arm come up and get struck by one of these pieces of luggage. What are you doing?
Well, he's looking through this. Man, I should have paid more attention in biology class. Look at this dolphin feces. It actually has stuff encased inside.
And I look up and I say, "Oh, I can't believe you've got your hands down in that."
Well, I mean, we're out here. We might as well. And I'm just not sure what all this stuff is. He holds up the keyboard. I don't even think they know what this stuff is. And he holds up the bag and of little bottles and cleaning stuff, and it says, "Look, maybe lime." I don't get it. They don't even know what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the things that the dolphin couldn't digest. Like they couldn't digest the clothes or their equipment or their maybe line. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah. Well,
I thought you wanted to keep your hands clean.
Well, I mean, they're not glowing green yet, like that thing. As he points as the arm sticking up.
Yeah, you can see that now they're starting to shove some of the luggage aside, and they're starting to try to clamber up.
We should probably get going.
All right. Well, he tosses the luggage in the general direction of the zombies, and he'll take the bag of cleaning stuff and the weird thing with all the white and black keys and bounce off.
So, are you going to tell April that you're going, or are you just going to leave her there serenely in the cockpit?
Enjoying.
Yeah. So as he's going out the front hatch, he's just going to pause, and then he's going to stick his head in the cockpit and say, "Hey,
Whoa.
they're natives. We found some natives, and they don't seem very happy. We should probably get going."
Natives inside the dolphin?
Yeah, I think it's like they call this like symbiosis or whatever. That's just crazy.
Like a parasite?
I don't know. It's we got to get some of the scientists up and checking this out later. But
Yeah,
right
we
now,
are no scientists, so we should maybe go. Okay.
let's do that.
All right.
And but right before we step out the door, I look wistfully back as the zombies are coming up, and I say, I speak to the soul of the dead dolphin. I say, "Thank you for lying with us."
So good. Yes. So you all dash out as these things are starting to emerge from the plane, and I presume you begin making your way out of the junkyard.
I didn't see anything else from up top. We should probably go ahead and get out of here.
Yeah, see if we find anything else. Somewhere else.
Yeah. They seem to. It looks as though these irradiated people are starting to try to clamber up and try to take over this part of the junkyard. So you may want to run. But it's up to you. Maybe they're friendly. It's hard to know. They're just cranky.
They
They
run
just
into
woke
the
up.
cockroaches. So.
Yeah, I mean, so that there's going to be a trade dispute right there. So you got to sort of deal with that.
It's like a West Side Story.
It kind of. Oh my God.
You brought this on yourself, Jeff.
I did. It's all my fault. So you all are going to make it back to the valley, where you get to open your flat packs if you so desire. These will get you certain things that will help you as we proceed.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and so you've got 2 flat packs, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shuffle them real quick. All right. So here's what you've got. You've got the Irvine Mobile Seed Dispensary, the HS3. And the Bremen, the HH28 Portable Park Ranger Station. It turns out. I'm assuming you open the. Do you set these down somewhere and open them?
Yes. What was the first one?
The Irvine, the Mobile Seed Dispensary. So basically, when these things open up, when you activate them, they set down and just it's this. So you come forth basically into the clearing, opening these things up, and they immediately begin assembling themselves. It's just this thing where these flat packs come. These walls immediately pop up out of the flat pack. These wall and floors just unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. Floors rolling out, walls sprouting up. Furniture in place. Until you have these fully formed buildings. Now, you're going to have a choice here as to where you want to position these buildings, if you wish. Let me go ahead and pull those out real quick. So this is the HS3. No, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. Come on, where are you? HS3. There you go. So, come on. There we go. Okay. So the seed dispensary, that's 4 blocks. 1. There we go. Okay, so that's the seed dispensary. Which let me go ahead and give you, give everyone control of that. If you want to move that around somewhere. And the park ranger station. Which, let me see, that's supposed to also be 4 blocks, so... Let's see... Yeah, I see kind of how it's supposed to go. There. Okay. And... So you should all now be able to move those around. And you can basically orient them however you like on your map. Hopefully you can move them. I put them in there. There should be a way. And these again, if you look up at the map, the tile versions of them are up there now. Yeah, there you go. And so, and hopefully there's also a thing where you can, a little thing coming off where you can rotate them if you want to. And just sort of put them in whatever position you like. These buildings come not only with their descriptions, but you can now also have specialists from these buildings. Now, the way this works is that one of the residents of the tunnels will come up and enter one of their training machines that they have inside that they have in this building. And so within just a very short period of time, you basically plug them in, and suddenly they become a park ranger. That's how this works. It's a sort of very intense, like a bit of training that happens as it just sort of the knowledge comes pouring into them over the course of, I think it takes, it takes a little bit of time, but you have time. And these will give you specialists in these areas. So once the process is done and people start coming up and settling, from the tunnels. They start appearing in here. You will have a good person farmer and a park ranger with associated skills. These are specialists you'll be able to call on to help you with some of certain tasks.
So, with regards to the map, what are the brownish areas versus the greenish areas?
As far as I think, well, I mean, you can feel free to place wherever. I just assume that, but the greenish areas, I assume, are trees. And so, I mean, if you place it over where a greenish area is, then that means it's just under the trees. And I'm pretty sure the more brownish areas are going to be open land.
Okay.
That's how I'm treating it, anyway.
Well, I feel like the seed dispensary should be near the farmable land, just to make it more convenient for folks to travel back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna resize my window a bit. And then I think the ranger station should be nestled in under the trees. So my proposal would be to move this over here.
I'm going to reduce the size of these cards a little bit now that we've got them off camera here.
And then maybe the seed dispensary should be like right here.
And where's the entrance to the tunnels where we are living at the moment?
Entrance to the tunnels is sort of to the south.
Okay.
So those would be my suggestions. If anybody has anything else that they think would be better, feel free to chime in.
Maybe the park ranger more over there. Where?
Yeah, if the I was about to say, if the entrance to the tunnel is to the south, then having the park ranger in the woods near the tunnel still makes sense too.
Okay, cool. That works.
Okay. Awesome. Your city is forming. Okay. So, a bit of time is going to pass as, this gets set up and your specialists get plugged in. You now have the ability to communicate with them through your devices, and they will now be able to help you with certain roles if anything that you do is going to be involved in it basically is involved in any of their areas of expertise, or can sort of be bent in that direction. So, as you have
I want to suggest my brother for the farmer job.
think your brother is up to the task?
I think so, yes. He will be a good farmer.
What's your brother's name?
It's wait a moment. Rafael, like a ninja turtle.
So wait, what is it?
Rafael,
Rafael? Awesome.
yes.
So your brother Rafael has been plugged into this machine and is now after a little bit of training now knows how to grow crops, how to make down home cooking, knows some astronomy and old spouse's tales, among other things, farming adjacent.
Excellent.
What could be easier? Insert your currency of choice and out pops a handful of beneficial seeds. The seeds are double winterized and bred for maximum production. Contains 40% less corn. Also, this does come with a fresh apple pie when it pops out. The last thing when the building finishes coming out is on the counter inside is an apple pie. Just so you're aware. You folks also may name your park ranger specialist.
I'm going to say his name is Smokey.
Smokey the park ranger.
Yeah, and his assistant, the bandit.
Oh my god. I actually finally saw that movie.
Oh yeah.
Let us just say that when one goes to see such a thing, and one happens to live in the Carolinas, one discovers where everyone outside of the city has been hiding. That basically, that's because they all came. It was a full audience for it, and let us just say the film itself, I would perhaps have been more impressed had I gotten to concentrate fully on it, but there was rather a lot of celebratory whooping and hollering that came along with this film, and so it perhaps did not make the impact upon me that it would have back in the day. But as for this park ranger station, built in under an hour, provides a lifetime of education on the local flora and fauna, as well as conservation tips and safety tips. There's a kit that dispenses necessary park ranger hat and jacket to make it official. So Smokey is now wearing a hat and the jacket, and is an official park ranger, and has an expertise in hiking, hunting, conservation, mushroom hunting, and campfire stories.
Nice.
There are extra hats and jackets should anyone want one.
I'm going to take a jacket. Because why not?
Of course. You now have a green jacket with a tree on it.
Excellent.
Okay. So, these things having settled down now, and you now have your lines of communication set up with Rafael and Smokey. You have a choice of two more locations you can head to. And I think we'll probably have time to do one more of them. So, which one would you like to head for? You've got this place that used to perhaps hold animals. And a place that perhaps once manufactured amusements of some kind, or sold amusements of some kind, a store of some kind.
Like with our new park ranger station, we're potentially well equipped to go check out this animal place.
Yeah,
think
maybe
so,
we
too.
can find a new friend for Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that dolphin was really cool.
I know. Too big to bring back.
Yeah.
Too big to be wrecked, but
And it was inhabited. So we couldn't steal the home from the poor glowing humans.
I still can't believe you went elbow deep in that dolphin feces. Like you had your head in there at one point.
yeah, it's good thing we have fresh water here to bathe in.
It's very important. It's very important indeed. Okay. Let me go ahead and just look through this here real quick just to check the information I have. Okay. So you head north along a path that leads upward, somewhat to and sort of around the edge of the valley, to head toward this former zoo. And so you're kind of you head over, you start to see basically there's this big archway that leads in. As you know, you eventually come to this path where it's everything is, you know, there was this sort of like hard sort of rocky concrete like stuff underneath with grass poking up through it. And as you head in, you see there are these sort of like kiosks up near the front, where perhaps people once stood. Hard to know. A lot of sort of murals here with just they're essentially images of different animals on the front of this sort of brick facade leading inside. And it looks like there are probably a few different ways one can look around in there. There's a few different paths through the overgrown mostly brick trails in there. What would you like to do?
I'm going to check out these places people maybe once stood.
Okay.
So I'll head over to one. Start kind of looking around, walk around the outside of it, and see if I can find a way in.
Yeah, so you're looking at it, and it looks like you can kind of see into it. It's a booth. It looks like, and it looks like there are a few controls inside for something. And it's weird. It's like the front of the booth is sort of this pane of glass. Behind the glass, it's like two panes of glass. And sort of looking, sort of trying to look through to the inside, which you can kind of do. It looks like the controls aren't directly accessed from what you would think of as someone standing right there, which is a little strange. There are controls like toward the back of the thing, on the inside of it.
Can I see how people get in or out of this place?
Yeah, there's this. It looks like there are these gates that look like can be opened and closed somehow. You're not sure yet how they open and close, but there is apparently a way to do it.
Look, is there? You said there's two panes of glass. Is there any way to stick something through them?
You can come around to the side, and again, when I say two panes of glass, it's like you're sort of looking at it from the side is when you notice the second pane.
Okay.
Of glass behind the first, and so you can look through the side, and you can see that there is some of the glass on one of the booths is broken. On the sort of the side glass, I should say. So you could possibly, you might be able to get in through there if you wanted to.
Okay. I'm gonna take my ranger jacket off and my vest off, and put my hat down, and then try to see if I can fit through that broken spot.
Okay. What are we leading with?
I think this is curiosity, which is neutral.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Okay, I figured out what I'm opposing this with, which should be interesting. Okay. So neutral, and are you calling anyone for help with this, or are you just going in?
I don't know that I'm calling anybody for help with it. I'm just, yeah. I mean, I'm not hiding it either. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I meant that it's another step has been added to the die rolling process now that you have specialists. Is all I'm saying is it's possible to call on specialists now if you should need it. But yeah, it's just going to be a D6 straight D6 roll
Okay.
otherwise. Okay. So you're trying to get through, and you're sort of trying to pull through. You're like, and you find yourself stuck.
I should not have eaten that apple pie before we left.
So, Carlton and April, you see Ike's. I assume you went in head first.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Ike's legs are kind of dangling out of this thing.
I'm tilting my head like, what are you doing?
I thought I could get through, and I was half right.
Yeah, should I try to push and help your other half?
Yeah, push or just like maybe like shake.
Okay, so I'm going over and just taking my hand, shaking it. Does this help?
I think by itself probably not, but maybe. What do you? What stat do you want to use?
Maybe, yeah. Is it resourcefulness? I hope that it goes with the environment. That my shake is going to help.
Excellent.
Good luck.
Yeah. You can use resourcefulness. What? So what's resourcefulness for you?
It's a negative.
Yes.
It's a negative. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna get a point of you're gonna get a spirit point for doing this after the roll, and so let's see what happens.
Before was it gone? Yes, okay. A 3.
Okay. So I think that as far as managing to, you managed to just Well, the good news is you're not going to wedge him in there any tighter. But 3 is unfortunately not going to be enough to kind of to advance this particular one. But you do kind of like manage to shove Ike a little further in, and in so doing, Ike, you can hear these sounds. It's like you sort of you moved over something, like a switch got pressed or something, and the booth starts glowing. And
my plan is working.
And standing now, sort of in the same space where where Ike is in part, is now you see a man now standing there, apparently. Ike, you don't see this, but you can hear him as Just a sort of man wearing a crisp vest and a very very slicked back brown blonde haircut, and comes forward and he's sort of his image is kind of flickering a little bit as you see him, and he says, "Welcome to the habitats. How can I help you?"
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Do you have any chickens?
And he pauses for a second, and then he's like, "Chickens, yes, are in the petting habitat."
Thank you.
Can release open.
Oh yeah,
Help?
Can you help him? Sorry, I almost forgot about you.
Who would you like me to help?
This friend of mine who got halfway stuck on the way inside.
You just sort of appears to look around for a second. So you're going to have to appeal to this thing's better nature a little bit. What would you like to roll?
Oh. What is it? So it's more like hope into the better future of this gentleman, or of
The immediate
Ike.
better.
I hope this works.
Yeah, if you want to
Or
use hope,
in
that's
Ike's
fine.
better future. So, okay. It's positive.
It's positive. Okay. Do you want to spend spirit or no?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to be rolling a d8. And also, let me know if you want to call on one of your specialists.
I don't know which one would fit here, so
Yeah.
No,
This is
not now.
kind of a specific thing. Okay. So you're going to be rolling a d8.
like,
5. Okay. He'll be he'll look over. He'll say, I'm not. Yeah, yes, it appears someone is attempting to gain entry illegally. He needs to buy a ticket.
I was trying to.
Excellent. How many tickets would you like?
At least one. Possibly 3.
Very good. That will be $75.50.
75.50 of what? I can collect stones, but it might take a while.
And it's
Could you put it on a tab?
it blinks for a second. You want to start a membership?
Yes.
Excellent. I'll just need some information from you, and we can get that going.
Okay.
What is your name?
Jenny.
Pleased to meet you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Jenny, what is your contact number?
Would be 7 5 3
I
0
know.
9.
I know what's coming. No, go ahead. Finish the number.
Yeah, I did.
5309.
5309.
There it is. And do you... And what account would you like to use with us?
It's the family account for all three of us.
A family account. Excellent. I'll just need your bank's routing number.
How many
Looking at him.
how many numbers is that? 3.
Excellent. Okay. I'm going to need another roll here to as you're navigating this to see if you can get the necessary information out of him about how what he's looking for. So who's rolling and what are you using?
I guess it would be Wiles.
You want to use Wiles? Okay.
I'm going to have to burn a spirit for this.
Okay. Is Wiles positive for you?
It's negative.
Oh, it's negative. Well, burning a spirit doesn't actually. You get a spirit for rolling it, but you can't use a spirit.
It has to be plus.
Yeah, it has to be plus to use the spirit, but you can get an extra spirit for using it. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, I might as well.
All right, let's see what happens. Okay,
Oh,
so you
4.
you get 2 spirit, and this is going to go well. So funny thing is, because Wiles has an advantage over dignity, which is what I'm opposing with. So yeah, he sort of looks up. He says, "Oh yes, no, it is a." The routing number, it's simple. It's depending on which bank you have. It will it's usually a 9-digit number, and he begins rattling off examples of and you see him sort of glitch for a second, and then he begins giving off examples of routing numbers that you can use.
Okay. What was the last routing number that you used to create an account?
Oh, that would be, and he gives you the routing number.
Right. I will repeat. Okay, so use this number then, and then he will repeat that same string.
Yeah, very, very good. Excellent. Thank you for... All right, it looks like you're all set. Family membership granted. And the gate swings open. Have fun at the facility.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a map?
Yes, of course. The maps are available at the at the first station. And you can, and he says, we'll light the path for you. And you can see like a couple of bulbs, a couple of lights on the path sort of spark up and then explode. And then a couple more light up and then fizzle out. And then you still got like 1 or 2 that show the way to the to the first station inside the park.
I guess we'll just have to go in that general direction as he wavily points.
And I will say that when the gate opens, then now finally, Ike, you've started. When the gate opened, you started to feel things shifting around a little bit, and because of the way it's oriented in the booth, and you heard things sort of crackling, falling down, pieces of glass breaking out, and then finally it gives way, and Ike tumbles down and out of the booth.
Dust myself off. Put on my jacket. Put on my vest. Put on my jacket. Put on my hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that trash surfing really comes in handy, huh?
So y'all ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Excellent. You enter the park. And you follow the lights to the first station, which is just basically a little kiosk with a map, and that lights up. It's a holographic map, and there are like three main areas that you can see on the map. You have the Holo Zoo, HOLO. The Holo Zoo, which is off to your left. The Petting Zoo, which is off to your right. And then straight ahead is the path that leads to the experimental creatures.
I want to go to the right, but we don't have to go there now. We can go there later. But I want to see if I can find something for Cindy. Maybe a little gift or something.
Maybe if I was a Flatpack, where would I be in this place?
Well, do they have dolphins here? Because that worked out really well last time.
Yeah, maybe we should look for Dolphin.
I guess it would be in the maybe the experimental animal section.
That could be, because I don't think animals are usually made of metal and glass.
Yeah.
That must be an experimental one.
And I think I remember dolphins being really smart and liking experiments.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Good call. Good call.
That is doubtless the case.
So we'll start heading towards the experimental animal area.
Excellent. So forward you go. And as you proceed that way, the lights sparking and going out as you head in that direction. You go past a lot of these. You see, sort of off to your left, the Holo Zoo, where you see these. There are some habitats that appear to have animals in them, and some do not, depending on whether the holograms are working. And as you come around a bend, you start to hear what sounds like chanting of some kind. Sort of this strange sort of chanting, and then you hear it's like interspersed with growls and howls.
Oh man, that sounds like that Beatles album. And he's going to start dashing towards the sounds.
So there's... Yes.
I thought those things from earlier were cockroaches, not beetles.
That's what I thought. Maybe they made their own band.
Yeah, cockroaches play a completely different kind of music, apparently.
I'll follow after.
So you're running, Carlton. You're running around to get there, and you see this strange sort of circle that's outside of this large, one of these larger habitats, and you see what looks like individuals, and they're kind of in robes, but it's like they've got they're wearing these pelts with of different things, and they're humming and swaying, and occasionally one of them looks up and howls at the sky. As they keep moving around in a circle outside this big habitat. They're about like they're like 6 of them.
Is there weird animals?
They look like people.
Well,
I'm standing a bit in a distance, but trying to imitate their movement, so I can prepare myself to blend in.
Excellent. Good. None of them have noticed you yet.
They must be like some sort of church choir that I've heard before. The way they're swaying and singing.
Yeah. Those are cool hats, though.
Yeah. And actually, as the circle parts, you can see that what they're dancing around appears to be an inverted Flatpack. It's up on one end. It's just sort of sitting in the middle of this.
That must be one cool Flatpack. Well,
Right.
I don't really want to disturb their music, but we kind of need that Flatpack.
Well, maybe they're just here doing this music and it doesn't have anything to do with the Flatpack.
Just a coincidence.
Oh, well, in that
Maybe we
case,
can just sway and dance our way to the Flatpack.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt, but we should probably get ready a scanner and make sure that we can activate that really quickly, though.
Don't you like music?
Well, I'll have you know that my family has founded about 6 decades worth of pop music and has worked tirelessly to restore them to digital format.
So do you know this song?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I mean, if I can get in there and scan it real quick, if somebody can distract them.
I think I saw this on like an old episode of like the Conan O'Brien show once. And then he starts hammer dancing, like MC Hammer dancing, like into the group.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
So he just starts tirelessly gyrating and breakdancing and just moving back and forth on the swivel.
As he turns to start doing that, I flick my hat, and this time it turns into a baseball hat with a couple of cat ears on the top, and I just whip it onto his head real quick so he fits in a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give April for the initial idea, and then the two of you for this folderol. I'm going to give each of you another point of spirit. Now we must find out if, and I dread to say it, but I must, if indeed whether or not they can touch this. I guess Carlton's leading this one off.
I will use nostalgia, and I will use a spirit.
Okay, actually, let me pick a thing, real quick. Let me make sure I've got the right thing picked. Oh my god. Yes. No, we're not going to call it that. It's going to be more of a... Let me just look at the list here. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to go... I know what I'm going to go with. Okay. So, yes. You're going to go at it with nostalgia. What's your nostalgia?
That is positive.
Okay, and do you want to spend anything?
Yeah, I will spend a spirit.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling a d8. And do you want to call in an expert?
I don't think we have experts that are more qualified than me at this juncture.
Just had to ask. All right, so you got you're rolling a d8. Let's see what happens. Okay.
4.
So they are going to. I'm opposing. What were you using again?
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. That's right. Okay. So they have ignorance, which opposes nostalgia, and it is in fact much more difficult for that. So they, as you start dancing in, it's like there's a moment where it's like you're really tearing into it, and really getting into it, and it's the sounds are coming out of it, the music, and then you realize after a second that everyone else has stopped, and they're all staring at you. And they have not faced away from the Flatpack as they have done this. They're sort of they're just watching you, and they're looking a little shocked.
Oh, he's not going to stop. He's just going to keep going like this, and mosey along in maybe a direction away from his companions and the Flatpack.
They just sort of look at each other. Like, one of them turns, one with a very long beard, and sort of dark makeup over his eyes, just sort of turns, looks at you. What are you doing?
I'm legitimizing this.
You are insulting the Lord of the Wolves.
But it's hammer time.
I'm sorry, there was nothing I could do. It was hammer time. I'm sorry, officer. It was hammer time. I couldn't.
You're a prophet.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Wolves told you to change up the dance for hammer time.
What?
You're the new prophet.
All right, so you're now trying to sell them on the idea that Carlton is the new prophet of the Lord of the Wolves. And what would you like to use to that end?
Yeah, I'm going to use hope because it's the belief in the Lord of the Wolves.
It's a new way of believing things.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And what's hope?
Positive.
Okay. Do you want to spend spirit?
Okay.
All right, so that'll give you a D8. And do you want to call in a specialist?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you're rolling a D8.
Okay, 7.
Okay. Hope has an advantage over ignorance. As it happens. So they're like, she's right. Lord of the Wolves would be appeased by this. Yes. Very well. Show us this dance of yours, that we may understand and absorb it, and appease the Lord of the Wolves.
Yeah. So, you'll see that Carlton decides to turn on his iPod for inspiration, and it kicks on some K-pop, and he sort of positions himself in such a way that everyone would just be able to fall into sort of like a V position behind him, and then he just starts going through a like a BTS routine.
Awesome. So now it's a question of just getting them to follow.
Yes.
Trying to impress them.
Try
What would you like
impress
to
them
use?
with, you will use nostalgia.
Now, just so you know, nostalgia is opposed by ignorance, so you will be at a disadvantage if you use nostalgia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So BTS is all about hope. So we'll use hope instead, which
All right.
is my
And
other positive.
Just discovered hope has an advantage, so that's positive. Are you going to spend spirit?
Yes.
Okay. And calling in a specialist? Yes, no? No? Okay. All right. Then you get a D8. 5, okay. But it has an advantage, so you're good. They're gonna come around. They're like they follow after a moment. It takes them a moment because they're trying to figure out where to work the howls in. But then they form into a V pattern, and they begin following you. And none of them are looking at the Flatpack.
All right. So I am gonna try to sneak in there now. I think I'm gonna use resourcefulness, and I'm gonna use a spirit point. And I'm gonna contact Smokey.
Okay. What's resourcefulness? Just so I'll know.
It's a plus.
It's a plus. Okay. All right. So you're contacting Smokey. All right.
To ask
so
him the best way to avoid wolf packs.
pull up. Ah. Well, the important thing is that they don't smell you. That's or especially if there's blood. You have to be absolutely. He shows up. His hat is showing in your little hollow projected image of him. Wolf packs. Yeah. No, you got to be careful because if you show them fear, they're gonna know. They're gonna know.
All right.
So you just if they're looking at you, you just got to back away slowly, and make.
I don't want them to look at me at all.
No, you don't want them to look at you at all. No, you got to be real quiet. You got to be real quiet. And if you have if you got any kind of bait, you might want to throw it out somewhere, so they can be
The bait's
attracted
taken
to
care
it.
of.
Okay, you got the bait taken care of. Okay, that's good. So what you're probably going to want to do, just if you're trying to sneak past a wolf pack, is just to make sure that if you do make any kind of noise, that it's in a kind of a low register, so it doesn't seem threatening. Make sure you got, if they do any of them spot you, just you bow your head down a little bit so they know that you're not a threat.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll either leave you alone or they'll tear your throat out. One of the two.
Okay. So I'll start making my way towards it. I'll get
Okay.
my head kind of down, being as quiet as possible, making
So-
sure I don't accidentally pass gas.
So it does cost a spirit to
Yep.
to call an expert. It also. Do you want to spend did you want to spend another spirit for a D8, or do you want to leave it?
Yeah, I'll spend another one.
Okay, so
Spend
you're
two.
going to have 2 dice because
Yep.
you used an expert.
So a D8 and a D6. Yep, that only worked on one of them. Hold on. I got a 3 on the D8.
Mhm.
One on the
Ooh.
D6.
That didn't help too
Oh,
much.
no.
So you are keeping relatively quiet, but there is a point in the dancing when a couple of them just sort of turn around and look at you, and they start slowly approaching because they see that you're right by the Flatpack.
I put out my hand towards them, like open palm, as I slowly try to move my scanner gun into position with the other hand.
They just slowly they're coming up to you. Their hands in front of them like this.
And
One moment. So, 2 wolves coming to him, or 2 of the dancers?
2 dancers, 2 people who are behaving
Okay.
like wolves.
Okay. Thank you.
They seem to they don't seem too pleased about what you're doing right now.
my stomach starts to grumble because of my anxiety.
Well, they're going to so I think basically are you going to so you're able to get the gun into play you're able to
Then
get
Yeah,
the thing into
I'll hit
place
the
so you can
I'll hit the scan button then.
you hit the scan button. So the Flatpack activates. And when it does, it immediately like lifts up and rights itself, and then they're immediately like,
It is it is as the Lord of the Wolves decreed. The new song has brought power to it.
okay,
Carlton just yells out, "Amen!"
I will Wiles, which is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll use a spirit point.
Okay, to give yourself a D8, absolutely.
Yep. 4.
Okay, it's not too terrible, but they sort of are watching you as you move away with this thing drifting along behind you, and they're like, they look at each other.
And can the Flatpack support someone standing on it while it's floating?
Probably.
Yeah. So Carlton's gonna leap up on top of it, and
Because
begin
he's the
another
prophet.
dance routine as the prophet. And he'll start moonwalking in place, going into like a sort of Michael Jackson dance routine as he, becomes one with the Lord of the Wolves. You'll see he'll start doing the Thriller dance, and yeah.
And they're like, and they're very very impressed. They just begin to like chatter with each other. What's going on? I don't know. Is the Lord of the Wolves is speaking through him? It must be. Just watch very carefully. And yeah, no, they're watching you, but you've got control of the Flatpack.
Yeah. So to the valley.
You're just gonna surf out on the Flatpack.
Yes, he is until the wolves sort of just give up and turn around or something.
So, yeah. What are you doing?
As we're going out, I'm turning around to the other people and saying, "The Lord of the Wolves is going on a conference with his prophet. We will come back later. If you have appraised him good enough."
And they all stay in place, and they all sit down, and they simultaneously they're like, "Arr!" And they all there's a bunch of howling now going on as they're just sitting there and watching you go. And you all make it back to the once you get back to the to Station 1, they've stopped following you.
Okay. He will hop down off the. Yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah.
Man, wolf people, cockroaches, glowing people, dolphins. See, he'll hop down off the Flatpack and just let it continue going back to the valley.
And it starts heading out.
So while we're here, should we look at one more place and grab another Flatpack before we go?
Yeah. Did we want to check out the chickens or the dolphins?
Yes, the chickens.
Chickens.
I need
Let's
a
see.
present
The
from
petting
Cindy.
habitat.
Yes,
All right.
I
So
promised Cindy to bring a present.
start heading in the direction of the petting habitat, and as you go down these past these different enclosures. You start heading toward where you're hearing more. You're hearing a little more activity, and you start to hear what sounds a little bit like a chicken. It's like, and there's a couple of chickens, maybe. And you see this wire mesh area, and you hear this sort of every now and then. You hear this thud, thud. And you come around this bend, and you see in this into this wire mesh enclosure, and you see a couple of the largest chickens you have ever seen. They are about 8 feet tall each, and they are scratching the ground and thudding, and they're kind of they're not exactly fighting, but they're more like just sort of getting in each other's way from time to time, and like. And there seems to be a figure standing, sort of a cloaked figure that's standing near near one side, who's been throwing out what looks like feed out of some contraption or other toward them. And you can see that there's a little, you see there's a little sort of barn-like thing behind them. And at the entrance to the barn, just lying there, you see the front of a Flatpack. It's inside that enclosure with them.
Okay. So first of all, I'm glad we're moving outside soon, because I'm afraid now that Cindy will go that big.
Wow.
And we don't have enough space for this in our tunnel.
Okay. Should we just walk over there and fetch the Flatpack?
Mm,
Do you think they would get upset if we just walked in? I mean, this is like petting habitat, right? So that means we can just pet anything in here?
Yeah, I mean, or they could be our pets.
Yeah, that totally... I think that checks out.
Yeah.
checking
see-
the chicks out.
Is that what that meant?
Probably.
I wasn't sure.
I'm gonna try to make one of them a pet. I'm gonna spend a spirit point to
This can only end well. So-
call is it Rafael?
Okay, well, so before we get into that, I just need to know, just so you're aware, so there's a gate and a fence between you and them. So there's a question of getting over to them. But yes, you can certainly call Rafael if you like,
Okay.
and you won't have to worry about spending the spirit point until you roll. But we can work that out.
Sure.
But yeah, Rafael is is there. He's got a straw hat on. Yes, how can I help you?
How do I make a chicken my pet? Doesn't your sister do that? I mean, like, I know she has
Oh, yeah.
one, but do you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know, like, the technique?
Oh, well, yeah. The
Favorite dress.
well, the important thing is to make sure that they're not. Make sure they've eaten. That helps if you're trying to make friends with them, because then because they can get mighty ornery otherwise. They can also get vicious. They need to make sure that they're not feeling threatened. Is this an adult chicken or a baby chick?
I'm pretty sure it's an adult.
Okay. Yeah, for the adults, it's yeah, they tend to be that, sometimes they're not that trusting, but it's getting to know them sometimes. It's you have to just be you have to be gentle with them at
Okay.
first. And it helps if you have something to feed them with. They're usually but don't try to feed them out of your hand though, because then that'll they might peck your hand off, depending on how big the chicken is.
Okay.
But no, if you give them some feed, and just sort of there's a thing you can do. You can kind of talk to them in kind of a sort of a little cooing way, sort of a type thing. Not too fast though. Don't do that too fast, or they're gonna see that as hostile.
Okay.
But you can kind of talk to them and just sort of calm them down, and then if they accept you, then, you look into their eyes, and then they'll either they'll let you pay. They might let you pet them.
Okay.
And if they don't, they'll just they might scratch you real bad. But it's easy. April's recovered from dozens of scratches like that. It's not really it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's not like they're giant chickens or anything.
Yeah. Right. All right. So, does the gate appear locked?
It does. It looks like there is some kind of like a padlock looking device on it, an ancient sort of looking lock on it, it's just that, and then there's a little further down. There's basically the guy by the feed bin is, and that is what you see. The guy by the feed bin might have a key, possibly. It stands to reason, but it's hard to know.
Okay.
Carlton will actually make his way over to the feed bin.
Okay. So you make your way over, And you haven't seen this person's face yet. They're sort of still covered in a cowl as they head over, and it's like, Oh, hey, what, oh, hello. Can I help you?
Who are you?
Sure you want to know? He's sort of standing there kind of facing away from you, smoking.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Shakes his head, and he turns around, and you see he has the face of a wolf. It's like a human with sort of a snout-like thing and gray fur.
Are you the Lord of the Wolves?
He's a cigarette. Yeah, I'm the Lord of the Wolves. My name's Murray. How can I help you?
Oh, wow, this is awkward. My associates and I just need to get to that box there, and he points at the Flatpack.
He nods. He says, "Oh yeah, any of those nuts with the generational memberships give you any trouble?"
No, actually. Oh, are you referring to the?
Yeah, the ones who dress like they're trying to ape me or something. I don't know. Oh no! He is shown. The Lord of the Wolves has exiled him. That's not good. No. Oh dear. Let's see if he has access to return to us. We're so close.
Some real magical stuff I can do with this screen split.
Yeah. There's some amazing things. Ah, okay. This is okay. Apparently, there appears to have been a cat-related accident. And so he shall return to us. So in just a moment. In the meantime,
I'm trying real hard to squeeze between the slats on the gate because I figure that's worked before.
That's how that works. Oh my God. There's a chance. You never know.
I think this is what's the E stand for?
The E stands for ego.
Ego. Yeah. This is me trying to redeem my squeezing abilities.
I feel as though that's very apt. Hi, yay!
Which is neutrals.
Oh, that was really something.
The Lord of the Wolves has returned
Lord
to
of the
us.
Wolves has returned.
Ike is trying to squeeze through the slats of this thing real quick. Let's see how he does. He's figuring out what I'm using. Yeah, I know what I'm using.
6.
Okay. Oh, cool. You get an extra point. Yeah, you actually managed to slip through. there's a broken slat, and you tumble
I've
out
gotten
into
much
the
better
chicken,
at squeezing.
into the chicken pen as this is going on. So this conversation between Carlton and the Lord of the Wolves has been happening. Between Murray, the Lord of the Wolves.
Were you referring to the people in the experimental habitat?
Oh yeah. That's where I used to hang out.
Oh, they've been looking for you.
I know. That's why I'm over here feeding chickens. You got to take a break from those guys every now and then. They're out of their minds.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay for now. But yeah, as I was saying, my associates need that box over there.
Oh, I don't know if he wants to do that. He's and you see his Ike has tumbled in with the chickens. That's going to be interesting.
Think so?
Well, I mean, they're kind of in a mood to box, so.
Oh, okay. So I'll all Ike has to do is just get the box.
No, they're in a mood to like. I think one of them's going to try to hit him.
Oh, that's right. Box. Bok, bok, bok.
And
Bok.
one of them is starting to like come toward you, thunder toward you.
Are these the right kind of box, April? April, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Walk, walk. Not too fast, right? Walk, walk.
Do it slow.
Walk, 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 walk. What?
It's better, but do you have the food? You have to feed him. Okay,
I pull like 3 seeds out of my pocket.
And this Murray is this like scoops up a bunch of handful. Give him some of this, will you?
Yeah. All right.
I keep this thing from killing him.
Walk, walk, and I'm like throwing one seed at a time at him.
Before
Like Carlton's just holding these seeds like awkwardly in his hands, like dropping them all over, and he's just going to toss them.
So first, let's resolve this situation with this
Walk, 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 walk.
with this monster chicken threatening Ike. So, what would you like to do to calm down the monster chicken?
I'm gonna do what Rafael said. So I'm slowly walking, and I am looking them in the eye, and I threw 3 seeds at them because that's what I had.
Okay.
And maybe take your arms like that and pretend like you're a chicken too. That's what I did.
Oh yeah, the chicken dance. This was like really popular back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Awesome. So you want to use? Excellent. What would you like to use?
I think this is Wiles more than anything.
Sure. And you can spend your spirit point for if you want to use because you talk to an expert, to a specialist.
Go up to the D8 also too.
So, yeah, D8 to D6. This can only end well.
Exactly what I said last time, and look how it turned out.
That's right.
5 on the D6. An 8.
Ooh, okay. So you not only do you get another point of spirit, but yes, you have succeeded. So they're like, and it seems to be sort of like dancing around you a little bit. You appear to have calmed down the monster chicken.
And I gently touch it because that's the last. Like I caress the back of its neck because that's the last thing that Rafael told me to do.
Very gently.
I think he likes you.
I think so. And so I'm gonna play with the chickens.
Okay. They have accepted you as one of their own, so.
Yes.
So Ike is doing that.
I reach through and grab my hat back off Carlton's head, and I flick it, and it turns into a chicken hat.
Excellent. So Ike is successfully distracting the chickens.
Yeah. Then I want to go in and get the Flatpack.
Okay. You head in. Murray opens the gate for you. It's like just yeah. I didn't know what that thing was doing over there. Go ahead and go ahead and grab it. It's they ought to be okay for right now. April goes over, scans the Flatpack, and it lifts up and follows you out.
Carlton's just going to turn to Murray like, hey, if you're bored around here, do you want to come back to the valley with us? We're trying to build the city and, could use more people.
Well, I mean, I could. I don't know. People, people kind of react to me kind of weird, as you've seen. Would they be?
It's fine. I'll just say you're with us. And,
Yeah. Okay.
I think there'll be a spot as a specialist soon. So
There's also only like 2 other people who are outside, right?
yeah. Yeah. We can just say that we'll figure something out. But,
Yeah,
they're
we
cool.
can check it out if nothing else. Hey.
yeah. And maybe we can wrangle these chickens and bring them over. And
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start babocking my way back.
Yeah. Yeah. You make it back. You basically. Where it's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I suppose it's possible. It's. I've been trying to train. If you can train them up well enough. I mean, they say that you can ride these, so might be possible.
that would be legendary.
Epic mount.
Yes. So,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, no, you're gonna basically head back with the promise with the potential for eventually to have giant riding chickens. There, you head back with Murray to the to your village, and let us see what flatpacks you manage to bring out. I'm gonna
Drop the
ahead
chickens off at the farm with Rafael.
yeah. Slowly lead them back. And let's see, you got the as we come back looking at this, you got a hold of the NISA, the community theater, and you also got a hold of the North, the Big Blue Police Icebox, so which is very nice. So this. So the NISA, this isn't the big time, but who needs the movies anyway? New scent-based technology assures the NISA produces the smell of grease paint, even if you don't know what grease paint is. Theater is the truest art, at least as far as the makers of the NISA are concerned. And the specialist that building produces is an actor. And for the Big Blue Police Icebox, not every neighborhood needs a big, active police department. Sometimes an active citizenry and a place to hold unsavory sorts until the real cops show up will do the trick. That's where the North comes in. Catch the crook and know they're freezer locked for freshness until the police arrive and thaw them out. So apparently it has a carbonite facility. And the specialist that produces is citizen law enforcement. At this point, I think we're going to. I'll go ahead and drag these out if you decide you want to. If you decide you want to play with positioning these.
Yeah. So the question is, do we want to offer Murray a position as an actor where he can just say he's in character all the time, or do we want to make him the law enforcement?
That would make a decent amount of sense. I mean, he could do either one, and I think he would be very effective as either of those things. Let me go ahead and this is the 445. Yeah, so that's 5 blocks. 1, 2. There. Okay, and there you have them. All right. Well, I think with that, also let's see. Oh yeah, you get. Do you get any extras? There's some things you can get with the that, but you get shiny badges. Shiny badges come with the police box as well, so that's always good. All right. Well, that's about all the time we have. So thank you very much for playing Flatpack. You have successfully brought forth 4 buildings to start up your new city, which will flourish now that it has all the wonders of both farming and law enforcement and community theater, which are the pillars of any good society. So at this point, we're gonna do our little PSs. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go around. We'll do a little PS for anyone who sees a future for their characters, where you think they go next, and what you think they do. As if this were sort of like the end of a movie where you have a montage, and we see a little sliver of their future. And I'm going to start again with Carlton. What do we see as like the last thing we see of Carlton?
You'll actually see Carlton opening up someday musical review in the local community theater with the generational ticket holders. It'll be a new boy band. The Pack plus you.
Of course.
Because there's, audience participation and all that. So, yeah, that's probably the next thing he will do.
Excellent. And over to Akodu, what's the last we see of April in this little show?
I think the next thing she will do is get one of those shiny badges, position it on a scarf, and give it to Cindy. And then she'll take her over to the new chicken friends and make sure she's well accepted with the new gang.
Awesome. Yes, Cindy has a badge, so does this mean Cindy is the sheriff of this town now? Is that how this works? That would be awesome. So what do we see of Ike?
She'll always be my special. She'll always be my special one.
She is awesome. So what do we see of Ike?
So Ike eventually trains up the chickens to rideable status, and starts a cadre of chicken knights who patrol the area around the things, making sure that the Lord of the Wolf isn't harassed by any of his previous followers, and that any sort of ne'er-do-well isn't able to get in. But also in their spare time, because there's not a lot of people coming at us, we also start a chicken rodeo where the goal is basically to ride to slide between as many things as possible while riding on chickenback.
Awesome. Brilliant. All right, folks. Well, that's Flatpack. I encourage folks to check out the game itself, as it is a delight. I think the place to find it is Drive-Thru RPG. Let me go ahead and just provide the link here. Yes, there it is. It is heavily discounted. So anyone who wants to check it out, the link is in the chat. There's a bunch of stuff that I wasn't able to get to because of, or that I wasn't able to put into this one session. A lot of times they have you do puzzles that are like visual puzzles, things like that, if you like that kind of thing. But there's sort of just a little taste of what sort of thing would happen over the course of the campaign. And eventually you build up the city, and certain buildings unlock the ability to get other buildings, and so it's kind of neat in that respect as well. So I urge folks to check it out if they are interested. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. We're going to feel free to, again, say where folks can find you, and feel free to plug whatever you like, and then tell us any last thoughts you had about this session, about this game. And we're going to go in reverse order. So we shall start with Tony.
So my name's Tony Vicinda. You can find me at Tony Vicinda on pretty much any form of social media. And then right now I actually have an active Kickstarter that's fully funded. We funded in about 2 hours, and we've unlocked 6 stretch goals. It closes on Tuesday. That's at http. You don't need it. It's on the internet at beardrpg.com. It's a game called Beards and Beyond.
Excellent. Awesome. Go check that out. Thank you so much for playing. Did you have any final thoughts about the game?
Super fun. There are plenty of people I would love to play this with, both one of my regular play groups and with my kids. The ability to do the long-term city building part, I think would be super attractive to some of them. I love the modularity of it, both literally and figuratively. And the kind of story-forward form of play is totally my thing. So we'll be definitely making an appearance at our table.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, and now let's go around to Akodu.
Yeah, I think there's no special place where you can find me. This is my first appearance online in a role-playing game here.
Yay!
But it was a lot of fun, and thank you for inviting me, and yeah, I had fun with Flatpack and you guys.
Hey, thank you so much for coming. This was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that this was your first experience. And hopefully you shall do more of it. Very cool. And now let's head over to Anino.
Hey everyone, my name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming, as well as any information on the current projects and such that I'm working on over on my webpage at aninogaming.com. I think next up for me, in just 45 minutes, we'll be back here for Dark Matter tonight, where our crew of misfits will try to take over a pirate ship in space. So, what could possibly go wrong with this group?
What could? I can't imagine.
Well, anyways, I had a lot of fun. The dolphin thing killed me so badly. That was just like a stroke of genius. So I hope you play more games, because that was hilarious.
That's great.
To build on. But anyway, yeah, that's it. So catch you guys next week.
Awesome. Well, that's now it's back to me. That was so good. Yeah, and the dolphin thing was hysterical. I loved it. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. In about 45 minutes or so, we've got our next session of Dark Matter. I can't wait. I've got to hurry up and try to level up my character real quick. And, get in there, because I've not done it, because time. So that's coming up. Then on Tuesday afternoon, back here, we'll have the premiere of Alas Vegas, the short campaign we're having for March. It's going to be weird and surreal, and it's they're full of all manner of tarot imagery. And I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a very different kind of RPG. Looking forward to checking it out. Wednesday nights, we have our regular Masks campaign run by Mole Thulu. Plenty of teenaged angst and superheroes. And then that brings us back around to Saturday. Saturday nights, we have our regular Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox, where they just made a rescue attempt, and then the person turned out didn't want to be rescued. Well, felt as though it was a bad time. They must now reconnoiter and figure out what they're going to do next. 1 week from today, Sunday, the one-shot will be Hill State University. That's going to be run by Aris Animus Panthera, who plays in our Invisible Sun campaign. That is a supernatural horror scenario. And we'll be using the Risus system, the anything system, basically. It's a very simple system. It's very amusing and cool. Sign-ups are still technically open for that. They will be for about another day, for anyone who wants to check that out. And very soon I'm going to be opening up sign-ups for a one-shot of Space 1889, the Savage Worlds edition of it, Red Sands. And I'm going to take a stab at running that 2 weeks from today. So look for that. That'll be coming out soon. You can always go down to RPG sign up down below, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on game sign up. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, I am going to send a raid over to somebody. I'm going to send a raid over to, let's see. Oh, hey. Rock, thanks very much. Thank you for the bits. Very appreciated. Let's see. We're gonna raid somebody. I'll figure it out. I think we might raid. We're either gonna do Dice Tyrants, or we might raid Grant. Grant is open for that. Well, Eric Vulgaris. Actually, let's raid Eric Vulgaris. He who is responsible for all good and bad rolls on Roll20. He's doing something. Pendragon, yeah. Apparently, possibly, if that's still current. So we'll go see what he's doing. We're going to go say hi to him. Feel free to hang on if you so desire and say hi to him with us. That, again, will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.